Good morning. Thanks for tuning in. You're watching the F&O Show on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. I'm Navneet Saluja D'Souza.
Good morning, Navneet. I'm Agam Vakil. Here are the headlines. It's a subdued start to the trading day. The Nifty trades about 11,300. The Nifty Bank continues to underperform. And open interest has surged in Just Dial and Tvs Motor Company, while longs are seen in Just Dial. TVS sees fresh shorts. Yes Bank is a top loser on the Nifty after promoter Rana Kapoor pledged 10 crore shares of the lender. And Kotak Mahindra Bank is among the top gainer on the Nifty after its first quarter earnings. The management says it sees no significant stress in its agriculture and rural portfolio. And HDFC Bank resumes its decline for the third day in a row. The stock now trades below its 50 and 100 daily moving average.
Okay, those are the top headlines for you at this hour. Let's also tell you what's happening with the markets after a tepid opening. I think there is a mild bit of recovery that we've seen, but important whether we can sustain the current levels or not. But not too much happening, actually. Nifty is just about trading flattish from trading negative just 15 to 20 minutes back. 11,350 is where the spot is trading, and the futures trade with a premium of about 4 points. In terms of open interest, it's just up about 4% for the futures. Pull up Bank Nifty as well. Remember, Bank Nifty has been underperforming, trading below its 100-day moving average. 29,000, approximately 29,300 is the level where it's trading. Premium of about 80 points, mildly come off from yesterday's closing premium of over 100 points, and open interest up about 7.5%. Let's address the broader markets as well, the mid-cap as well as the small-cap index, where the market breadth this morning has been just about even Steven, so nothing happening around the mid-cap index. Small-cap up about 0.5%. The entire listed universe of NSE is telling you that the market breadth currently is in favor of advances, but let's see if this can last throughout the session or not. I just want to pull up the Nifty Contributors list because it is the HDFC twins which have been dragging the index lower for the last two trading sessions, and today as well the correction continues for both the HDFC twins. As you can see on your screen, had it not been for them, at least we would have been trading higher by almost 35 to 40 points as of now in Nifty. What sort of positions one should watch out, or rather what sort of levels, considering this is the monthly expiry week, and this is turning out to be, mind you, the worst expiry of this calendar year. Index is down over 4%. That's Nifty. Bank Nifty also down about 4 to 5%. 11,500 call has maximum open interest, and the 11,300 put strike. But important to watch out for level of about 11,300. If you go by the data right now, the combined premium on the call as well as the put side is somewhere about 100 to 110 points. So if somebody is playing for a short straddle on the 11,300 strike, it's giving you the range of about 11,200 to about 11,400 on the upside, at least till the expiry. So probably that's the range I think the market will be watching out for.
Absolutely. Okay, let's take a look at all the stocks which are buzzing in trade. Of course, the indices is expiry, so we won't have too many stocks which are seeing a surge in open interest. However, we do have the likes of NIT Technologies, Indian Oil Corp and PVR standing out in this case. And as far as the way the direction is concerned, we're not seeing too much. Tvs Motor Company, however, is down a little less than 2%, and it is seeing 10% increase in OI. And Cipla as well from the pharma space is looking at a little bit of decline too. On the whole, there are shorts building into Cipla and Tvs Motor Company, and of course we're keeping an eye on NIT Technologies considering we are expecting earnings to come through. Let's move on and talk about those stocks which are seeing unwinding. Birla Soft, which is still under pressure, that is also seeing unwinding, but that's largely possibly on account of rollovers for Arvind, JSPL, Nalco, Federal Bank. So a lot of stocks out there, Navneet, to keep an eye on today.
Yep, Agam, when we started the series, 34 stocks came out of the F&O space, and I think yesterday there was an announcement from the exchanges. Another 9 stocks will be coming out from after the September series. So you've got the likes of Arvind, Birla Soft, Engineers India, Hindustan Zinc, IDBI, Kajaria Ceramics, and stocks like MCX, Oracle Financial, and Raymond all of them will be excluded from F&O after the September series. So just keep an eye on this one, because in the coming two series you could see some unwinding pressure coming by. But three stocks where we would like to take views from our technical experts today are the likes of Tvs Motors. Numbers were better than estimates, but cautious commentary with regard to the industry growth. I think the stock has touched its fresh 52-week low. Just also the numbers were decent this time around, and Kotak Mahindra Bank, it went in weak into the numbers, was down nearly 3% yesterday, but the numbers have been pretty much in line. Just that the loan growth this time around was below what they've been posting for last many quarters of about 20%.
Okay, well, on that note, we bring in our experts. But before that, here's a reminder: if you have any queries regarding futures and options markets, you can call us on 022-4540-4141, or of course, the more convenient way was to get in touch with us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. But don't forget to add the AskPQ hashtag. To get in our experts for the day, then we have Nirav Chheda of Nirmal Bank Securities and Rahul Shah of Motilal Oswal Financial Services joining us on the show. Good morning to both of you, and thanks for taking the time out. Nirav, I start with you. Where are you seeing indices move here from now? Is there more weakness in store?
Yeah. Good morning, Agam and Navneet. See, on the index front, definitely looks like, there is more pain to come. I've been saying this from the past few weeks. The RSI divergence is now finally playing out on the longer term charts for the index. Nifty's also filled that gap, the exit pole gap, which was around the 11,450 to 11,600 odd levels. It has broken the 11,400 odd levels as well. I believe, it's also broken the 50-day moving average around the 11,700 odd level. So I believe, Nifty is likely to come down towards its 200-day moving average, which is now placed at around 11,150 odd levels. So very likely, probably this week or the next one, the start of the next one, we will see Nifty towards, making a move towards the 200-day moving average. You see the PCR also, it has drastically fallen from the last week, where it was 1.3 odd in the last week, and it has come down to 1. Also, the VIX has, risen very aggressively from the sub 11.5 levels to about 14 odd now. So very likely, Nifty is going to come down. So my call here would be to sell Nifty at current levels with a stop loss of 11,460, which now becomes an immediate resistance on the upside. And, the target for the same would be 11,150.
Okay, so Nirav suggesting to sell the futures with a target of about 11,150, which is very close to the 200-day moving average of Nifty. Hi Rahul, good morning to you. Would you play for a bit of bounce back considering this is the expiry week?
Hi, good morning. I think I feel that there could be a little bit bounce back on a Nifty as well as the Bank Nifty. I think it looks like that's been an oversold zone, what I personally see the data. And interestingly, on a day like yesterday when we saw the sell-off across the board, and interestingly we saw some more put addition in the writing addition on 11,300 on a Nifty front, so which itself indicates that 11,300 could be the immediate support and acts as a support for the Nifty. And from there I feel that there could be a little bit short covering on the Nifty front. So I'm positive on Nifty. It's the same way vis-a-vis if I look at the Bank Nifty. I think again 29,200 is a major support for the Bank Nifty, and from there exactly we've seen some bounce back today, and I think it should continue for a while. I'm not expecting a major run, but I think a bounce back of 1% on both indices I feel is warranted before an expiry.
Okay, so Rahul, you're buying calls in both cases, the Nifty and the Bank Nifty?
Yeah, I've been buying. I would advise going long on 11,400 call, which of the current expiry, which is at around 35. Keep a stop loss of 28, target of 50. Again, the Bank Nifty call of 29,500, which is at 118 or odd. Keep a stop loss of 100 and target of 150 on that.
Okay, let's move on and get you some stock-specific ideas for this afternoon. Nirav, in terms of individual stock futures for the day, which are the stocks that you are betting on?
Yeah. Both are sell calls. There's been a breakdown in SBI yesterday. it went down below a very important support zone of 355. A little bit of long liquidation is seen here. Shorts are beginning to come into the system. I believe SBI can fall down towards the 335, 325 odd levels. So one can sell the current month futures with a stop loss of around 360 for that target. The second one is a sell call on M&M Finance. If you see, this stock is consistently making a lower top, lower bottom formation. It is going down slowly, but yesterday it did break down below the 360 levels, which was an important resistance area on the upside, important support area, and now that becomes an important resistance. So one can sell M&M Finance at current levels with a stop loss of around 366 for a possible target of around 320.
Okay. And what stocks interest you today, Rahul?
I think Sun Pharma is one which is interesting, and I think we've seen on a sell-off days also this stock has done quite well. So from the lows of 370 or odd levels and a good bounce back and a good longs built up, and immediate resistance for the stock was 423, what I used to see, and from there also it has crossed. So I think Sun Pharma, there is some more upside in the stock from the current level as well. So with a stop loss of 425, I would go long on Sun Pharma with a target of 450.
Okay, those are some individual stock ideas coming your way. Let's start taking stocks where we want to take views from our experts. And one of them is Tvs Motors. The numbers came in yesterday post market hours. The earnings were, remember, better than estimates. In fact, we did see some bit of margin expansion even on sequential basis. But I believe it was the commentary coming in from the management which has not gone down too well with the market experts. In fact, they've said from industry growth of about 4 to 5%. Now they're expecting even a negative growth which could come by for FY20. That's the intraday chart. It's the stock, by the way, has recovered from the lows. It did touch 52-week low and now is just down about 0.5% in trade. Nirav, if I could come to you, it is down substantially. If one were to look at the performance on year-to-date basis, the stock's seen correction of about over 30%. Has it bottomed out at current levels? Would you advise taking any bet on Tvs Motors?
See, it is showing first signs of bottoming out. Having said that, it is still not bottomed out. We'll have to wait on to see what kind of volumes it makes for this week. Again, it is bounced from a very good support area of 360 odd. So, there is going to be a little amount of demand which is going to come in from those levels. Also, the RSI on a longer term chart shows that it is on oversold zone, but is just touching the oversold zone. So, it will take some time. Probably it has just started, that process of finding a base, but the base is still not in place. I will still be selling it if it comes to 390 odd levels with a stop loss of 405. At this level, it is neither a buy nor a sell because the risk reward doesn't match.
Okay. Well, let's move on and talk about Kotak Mahindra Bank then. And the earnings were out, very steady earnings, perhaps a little bit of a miss, but considering the fact that when you see private sector banks come in with good growth numbers, investors may tend to disregard if the miss is not by a very big margin. So for now, we are looking at longs. Of course, the stock is advancing by around 1.7%. But if you actually go and see, the stock has actually been in a very, very tight range of 1400 and 1500 over the past 3 months. So it hasn't really done anything. Rahul, the big event of the earnings is out of the way in Kotak Mahindra Bank. More sideways movement expected on this one?
I think interestingly, we've seen that the sell-off in the most of the Nifty heavyweights and in the stocks which used to outperform have been showing some pressure. So I think Kotak is also one of them. And I think post results, we've seen some good short covering on the stock and a good bounce back today. So technically, if I talk, I think the stock has a good support at 1458 or odd levels. So I think stock can still go higher to 1500 odd levels, but I think upside looks like limited in Kotak Bank. So I would avoid going long on Kotak as well.
Okay, avoid going long on Kotak Mahindra Bank. Remember, it was down about 3% yesterday ahead of the numbers. So the recovery is in line with, because the numbers were pretty much on expected lines this time around, barring the loan growth that we've seen. But moving on, staying with the earnings, in fact, because a lot of earnings reactions have come by. Just Dial is one of them where earnings were better than what the street was expecting, and the stock is up about 1%. This one too, by the way, was down, I believe, 6 to 7% in yesterday's trade. Profits for the quarter were up 49%, revenues grew by about 14%, and the stock's been trading around its 50-day moving average. Does it warrant at current levels to take any positions on the long side? Let's check with Nirav. Nirav, at 7:33, would you advise taking any sort of position in the long side for Just Dial?
The answer is no, definitely, because most of the indicators are in the overbought zone. Also, it has broken an important support of 750. You look at data prior to this, a lot of weeks it is made a doji kind of a formation where the high and the lows are very near to each other, and there hasn't been much movement. It's remained in consolidation for quite some time. And now it has broken the 750 levels as well. So at this moment there are no long that should be done, but on the downside, if one wants to short, then definitely wait for another breakdown confirmation of 710 levels. Once that is come, there is a confirmation which comes in, and after that one can sell for a target of about 600 odd with a stop loss of 730.
Okay, fair enough. Let's talk about queries then, and I think we don't have too many, but we certainly have one on Tata Elxsi, where we have a viewer on YouTube who wants a view on Tata Elxsi. Let's pull that up, because we do know that Tata Elxsi has been under tremendous pressure. In fact, about a few weeks ago, it was trading around 850 odd, and it's now come to 680. Well, I would say the earnings are partly to blame for the sharp correction that we've seen in the stock. Currently at 680, but the earnings are now out of the way. How do technicals look now? What are the charts telling us about Tata Elxsi going forward? Nirav, I'll come back to you on this one. What would you do with Tata Elxsi at these levels?
See, Tata Elxsi has broken a very important support of 800 odd, and has come down since. Also, now it is moving towards its support area of 650 odd. So it is likely to come down further, another 30 rupees from current levels. It is a negative pattern, and if one wants to trade, one should be trading on the negative side. One can even short at current levels with a stop loss of 700 for a target of around 650.
Okay, that's Tata Elxsi, and staying on with the IT theme, the top gainer on Nifty right now is Infosys, and the way the stock's outperformed after it came out with its numbers on July 12th. I think since then it's up 10%, and it's also touched its live highs in today's trading session. As you can see, 801 is currently where this one trades. So outperforming Nifty. Rahul, do you see more upside for Infosys, and can this be one stock which will continue to provide support to the index?
I think this stock has outperformed the entire IT pack, as well as in Nifty also, and the stock which has outperformed is Infosys, and the stock is nearly to its 52-week high and in a new trajectory. So good longs built up also in the stock. So I personally feel that stock can still see some more upside to maybe 826 or 827 odd levels, and there we could see some resistance. So I think with a stop loss of 788, I think I would advise going long on Infosys with a target of 826.
Okay. Well, Sarang Patel on YouTube wants a view on United Spirits. His question is, are these good levels to go take a long position? Now, we must remember that United Spirits has also announced earnings, and the earnings were pretty decent. And they actually did come ahead of street expectations too, yet the stock is under pressure today. It is down around 2.2%, 2.3%. And it's not really done that well. It's been extremely volatile because of the volatility in earnings that we've seen. To a certain extent, a lot of ups and downs over the past 3 months, as well as you can see on your screen there. The question is, what's the view here, and can you buy United Spirits? Nirav, would you recommend going long on this one?
See, I'll recommend to wait on at this moment. It has come down below a support of 593. Having said that, it is making a higher top, higher bottom formation, and slowly but surely it is reaching for 650 odd levels. It is also trading above the 50 and 200-day moving averages. Out of the F&O stocks, only about 10% of the stocks, in fact, even 5% of the stocks are trading above the 50 and 200-day moving averages. So definitely, it is a better stock. But at this moment, I'll still avoid it because I feel let 593 be broken on a closing basis. Once that is done, after that, probably this will get a clear move up to 650 odd levels. Once it moves above 593, your stop loss should be 575 for your longs.
Okay, maybe you could be seeing some profit booking post numbers for United Spirits, because yesterday in a weak market the stock was up, I guess, 2.5 to 3%, and despite of posting better than expected earnings, it is seeing cuts of about 2.5%. We've got one more query on Facebook coming in from Shravan Kumar. He's holding short in India Bulls Housing. He shorted the futures from 662, and he wants to know if he should book profits at current levels, and he is sitting with good amount of profits. Rahul, what would you advise? Should he be booking profits, or he can just place a stop loss and continue to hold the position?
I think he should continue to hold his shorts, and I think obviously keep a stop loss on the trade. I think looking at India Bulls, I think the stock is in a range of 600 and 660, and I think at 660 or plus level it is showing some resistance, and from exactly it has fallen down. So I think stock can still go back to 620 or odd levels. So he should keep a stop loss of 647 and continue to hold his shorts.
Well, we don't have too many queries, but I'm going to take Bajaj Finance up now. This, of course, as we all know, has been a massive outperformer in compared to not only the Nifty 50 stocks, but also some of your broader market companies. But, of course, after hitting around 3,700 rupees per share just a few weeks ago, it's come off naturally. And it's down at around 3,200 rupees now, a little over that. The real question is, what do we do with this one? It's currently taking support around the 100 DMA mark. So, there is, of course, a little bit of an advance here and there, but not too much to speak for after the kind of weakness that we've seen here. The question, as many may ask, what shall we do with Bajaj Finance? Because it is a very, very important, stock as far as the NBFC sector is concerned. So, Nirav, your view on Bajaj Finance now, if someone were to ask you, what would you advise them?
Yeah. Just like Nifty, most of the stocks have also broken their 50-day moving average. Similar for Bajaj Finance, it has also broken its 50-day moving average. For a long time, it consolidated, at 3,400 odd, which was its 50-day moving average. That has been broken, and just like Nifty, it is very likely to move towards this 200-day moving average. A little amount of liquidation is seen in Bajaj Finance as well, which is not a very good sign. I believe it is likely to come down towards the 3,000 odd levels. 3,000 to 2,800 is where it should form a base. It is also its previous bottom. So on the longer term charts, it is making a higher top, higher bottom formation with its previous bottom placed around the 3,000 odd levels. So that is where, I don't think it should violate those 3,000 odd levels on a closing basis. It should make a bottom near about the same levels, which is also where 200-day moving average is placed, and then probably bounce from there. So having said that, there is another 200-point dip that is likely to happen in Bajaj Finance. So one should not be in a hurry to buy Bajaj Finance at this moment. Let it fall like the other large caps, and probably buy around the 3,000 levels.
Okay, if you were looking to make a fresh entry into Bajaj Finance, Nirav is suggesting wait for the correction, wait for more correction. In fact, you can look to enter the stock around levels of 3,000. We're just getting some more queries on YouTube. Harshvardhan has written to us. He wants a view on Adani Port's 390 August put short calls. I'm presuming he wants to ride the 390 put of the August series. Currently, the stock's been trading around the levels of northwards of 400. Rahul, would you advise someone to ride the 390 put strike of Adani Ports of the August series?
I think if I look at Adani Ports, I think the Adani Ports have been quite in a range-bound stock from levels of 395 and 400 levels on a lower side and a higher side, a resistance at 425. So it's been quite in a range for quite some time. So looking at that, I think he should write the put. He can write put at 390 at August put at current levels.
Okay, I think we can take just maybe one or two more queries. We do have one on Bata India as well, levels to watch. This question comes from F&O Student on YouTube. Rahul, I come back to you on this one. What levels are you watching out for when it comes to Bata?
I think we've been seeing in consumers a lot of sell-off in individual stocks. So I think Bata again is in the same trajectory where I think a lot of where the stock is in unwinding and on a negative zone. So I think Bata can still see some more downside from current levels, and I feel Bata can go to 1200 or odd levels in near term. So with a stop loss of 1276, I think I would advise continue to go short on Bata with a target of 1200.
Okay, you can look to go short on Bata. Very quickly, I'm just taking the last query. Puneet has shorted SBI futures at 365 and he's pretty much in the money. He wants to know if he should look to book profits at current levels. Nirav, would you advise him to book profits?
Yeah, I just given a call of SBI some time back. I believe it can come down towards 335 odd levels. So that is where one should look to book profits.
Okay, if you've shorted SBI at higher levels, Nirav is suggesting you can look to book profits at current levels. And I just want to revisit the markets. Looking at Nifty right now, we are seeing just a flattish day actually so far. At 11,353 is where Nifty is trading. Volatility seems to be on the higher side, and for broader markets, it's been a mixed session. Bank Nifty is also seen trading around the levels of 29,300. Let's see if in the second half we can see some bit of a bounce back coming in for the markets. There's been a sharp sell-off in the last three sessions. Nifty IT and the Nifty Realty indices are doing well, whereas Pharma has seen some bit of selling pressure in today's trade. Just want to address few of the stock futures. Shriram Transport currently is your top F&O loser right now. The stock's lost about 4.5%. Yesterday also it was trading lower with cuts of 2%. The numbers come out tomorrow. So ahead of the numbers, Shriram Transport is witnessing some bit of weakness. Watch out for Sun TV. That's down 3% in trade. Apollo Tyres is seeing cuts of about 3%. Kajaria Ceramics, which comes out of the F&O space post-September series. Also Raymond, all of them are seeing some bit of unwinding pressure, whereas some bit of strength seen for stocks like, and these are all your beaten down counters, Dewan Housing, Reliance Capital, Reliance Infra alongside Yes Bank.
Okay, well, take a moment to thank both our experts, Nirav and Rahul, for taking us through their views on the markets and solving some of our viewer queries. For more updates on the F&O space, you can also check our website out, bloombergquint.com, specifically the futures and options pages.
Well, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the F&O Show. Thanks a lot for watching. Stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint for more news and updates.